So right behind us, we have the fully electric
Volvo C40 Recharge.
Is it worth the what?
Let's find out. So Matt, after a week of driving this car, what do you think?
I love it. I love this car. Like, there's a lot of things I like about it. There's one thing I don't like about it, which I'll talk about later, but I love driving this car. How about you?
I really love this car. I love driving it as well. I think it's a really smooth ride. I think that it's really quiet when you drive it as well. You can hear a little bit of road noise, but not too much, which is great.
Yeah, you can't hear the wind noise is good. It's the road noise you hear more often because it's an electric vehicle. It's heavier, so, because the wheels are on a heavier platform, you can feel it in the car a little bit, which is normal.
But one of my biggest complaints are the blind spots at the back.
I agree.
The window is really small, and I know a lot of people like to use the rear view cameras when they back up. Most people focus on the camera, solely focus on the camera, but I don't. I always like to look back, and it's really hard to see through that window because it's so small.
It's so small that it's one of the trade-offs of buying this car versus its sister, the XC40.
Why isn't it a brother?
Sorry?
Why can't it be a brother?
It's gender neutral, okay? It's a they-them car, which has a bigger exterior window, and it also has a windshield wiper, which this one does not.
So the XC40 is the same car, basically, right?
Basically, same chassis.
But this car is so much classier, and it's so sporty and so pretty, and it's way more attractive, in my opinion. So, but would you trade that for a smaller window?
I like the look of this car better than the XC.
I agree, but this car has a higher price point, less cargo space, and a smaller window.
Yeah, you'd have to be like, I don't care about money, I'm gonna go for this car instead. I'm gonna sacrifice a little bit of range and have the smaller storage space.
But when you say a little bit of range, we're looking at 5 kilometers more for this car?
Look, it's all about the driving experience for me. The numbers are nice, but it's not like the end all or be all of everything. I will say though, that the interior of this car is, it's nice. I don't think it's beautiful, but it's nice. How do you feel?
The interior, I think, I don't think it really suits the outside appearance of the car.
That makes sense.
So I think the car is really classy, and the only complaint I have, I guess the other only complaint I have about this car is not only has Volvo gone they've completely got rid of their leather interior, which is fine. I'm actually really happy about that. But as opposed to having, a vegan leather, they have this cloth wool material. It comes in other materials as well, but this cloth wool material kind of cheapens the look of the car a bit.
Yeah, it cheapens the look of the car. I would have loved a vegan leather option just because I like the feeling of vegans under my skin. Just kidding. But look, the wool is cool in terms of it feels comfortable, but summertime you're wearing shorts, your legs are touching it, it's a little scratchy. Cloth or wool in general, suck up the smell from your body. I don't know how it's going to pan out
especially when
over
you
a
leave the
sweaty
gym every
summer.
morning.
Exactly.
Kind of gross.
It's kind of gross.
Can't really wipe off your sweat on the seat.
Yeah, I will give it to Volvo. The seats are comfortable. They're very comfortable. There's enough space for.
I'd give this a 10 out of 10 for comfort.
Yeah, it's very comfortable.
It's really
even the
comfortable.
drive in this car,
Yeah.
is smooth over the bumps. It's a very smooth ride. But, everything's not perfect, like you said, when you compare it to the outside of the vehicle. Even the plastic bits around the display. I'm not a fan of glossy plastic. Not only does it look cheap, in my opinion, but it also picks up a lot of dust, and you're just reminded to clean.
I disagree about the plastic. I don't mind the plastic. I like the shininess to it. I can see where you're coming from, but I actually really like the plastic. I don't think it looks cheap.
No, it does. I think it looks cheap. I think it makes the screen look cheap, but I do like the technology they're using in this car. It's probably the second best after Tesla because they're actually using Android Auto, which just makes a lot more sense than some of the proprietary software that these other car companies are using. You can log into your Google account. You can download any apps that are available for your car from the Google Play Store, which is fantastic. And the best part is, if you're an iPhone user, it also supports Apple CarPlay, so you don't have to stick with Android, and that's the way it should be. Controlling the temperature with this screen is a little rough because the icons are tiny and you have to really focus.
Yeah, but Matt, you have two arrows. One to make
I know, but I'm driving and I have to really pinpoint it. I would have rather a proper button on the bottom to push than focusing on that. And if you want to bring up the menu, you have to push it, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
I guess that's a bit of a distraction when you're driving.
It is a distraction for sure.
But when you want to turn up the AC or lower the AC, you just have two arrows. So.
I understand that, but it's really, really small, and it's distracting when you're driving because you have to like pinpoint it. But don't get
Yeah,
me
I
wrong.
agree.
Like,
I'd rather have a physical button for that.
For
I
sure.
mean, I'm all about the physical button for certain things.
and they do have
To
physical
make it
buttons.
easier.
Like,
Yes,
they have
but the majority of them are on the screen,
Yeah.
which is fine. Some people are used to that, especially if you've been in certain cars for a long time.
Yeah, and there's also little cool features baked into this. So, for example, the driving experience in terms of one pedal braking is either on or off. There's no like different modes you can choose from. I do find that the one pedal driving in this car is very aggressive. Like it just kind of stops, whereas in other vehicles, there's more of a progression happening. So if that bothers you, you can always turn it off, but there's only one mode to choose from. I also love the fact that I can put the two back seats down from the menu over here. I don't have to physically go in the back seat and do it myself. It's baked into this. And there's also a purifier option with this car where it cleans the air, which I thought was really, really cool. So if you live in a city that's really dirty and nasty air pollution, this car will keep the air inside of the cabin nice and clean.
So did you notice that there's supposed to be a little button here, Matt, to start and stop the car? So when I originally got in, my first instinct was to push this button to start the car. And then I realized there wasn't a button there.
So this is my theory, because this is built after the regular XC C40 Recharge, the original one, that one also comes in a gas version. So the gas version probably has that button, and they obviously took the design elements from that car on this one, because it's pretty much the same thing, and they left this little circle here. But
the cool thing is that you don't actually have to turn on or off or turn off the car when you get
right.
out.
You just walk out like a
Tesla.
Tesla.
You put it in park and walk out like a Tesla, which is great.
I love that.
Because I would normally, you know, there are times where we would get out of some of the other electric cars thinking that you can just get out and walk away, and then we realize you had to turn off
started
the car.
beeping at you like a mad person.
Exactly.
Yeah. Also, there's a little wireless charging pad over here. It's just for one phone only. You have a little crystal-looking gear shifter. It's tiny.
I think that's a really cute little
I like
feature.
it. You know,
and at night
I
it
like
lights
it.
up.
Again, classy plastic around it. This little bit over here is to rest something tall if you want to place it. And then you have a little bit of space around the charger. You have two Type-C ports. One will accept data, the one that has a border around it. And then you have another Type-C port that only supports charging. And then you have a 12-volt connector if you want to, you know, light a cigarette, which people don't do these days as often. Glove compartment, pretty spacious. I like it.
What about this cute little garbage here?
This is a little garbage
How cute
can,
is
you know?
that?
You can put little dirty things in it.
You literally take
blow
out
your
the garbage
nose.
when you're done and empty it out. I mean, here's the thing though. Are you gonna blow your nose and put your Kleenex in there?
I would if it's my own car, no one else drove in it.
Would you wait until that's all filled with booger Kleenexes?
Well, maybe in my younger days, if I went on a date with someone I didn't like, I'd be like,
I
put
feel
your
like
hand in here.
I don't know about you, but when I blow my nose while I'm driving, I usually like to take my Kleenex out as soon as I stop at my destination. So I really love the backlit panels on the dash and on the doors, only in the front, not in the back.
Yeah, they light up
at night. They look really cool,
Yeah.
and they have this really cool design.
Harman Kardon sound system. There's 12 speakers inside this car. The sound actually is really, really good.
Really, really
I
good.
also noticed in the menu you can focus the speakers to different scenarios. So like if you're driving the car all the time, there's a driver profile. There's one for all. There's one for the rear. Like if your kids want to listen to music but you really don't want to, you're still going to hear it, but you can focus most of the sound to the kids in the back. Personally, I think the best setting overall is the one for all. Even if you're the driver, just leave it on all. I think it sounds the best. The wheel, lots of buttons on it. You have one to change the distance when you're doing your pilot assist. If you buy the car or the package without it, it's still here no matter what. The wheel can extend inwards or outwards to a pretty long degree, which is nice to see. And then you have another display in front of you. This is more of a matte display. It's not as glossy or shiny as the other one. This will tell you your speed. You have your maps open the entire time, which I absolutely love, and it will always tell you your range.
So how did you feel about this car merging onto the highway?
It's fast. It's pretty much
really
the same speed as my Tesla Model 3 dual motor, like 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds, 4.4, depending on, you know, how you start off. And it just throws your head back, feels like a proper EV. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, 402 horsepower.
And
really powerful.
487-ish torque.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of power behind this guy. But this is the thing.
Yeah.
The one thing I think
the range.
That's it.
We're lacking the range.
The range is not good in this car.
And a lot of people that are debating on getting another electric car, you know, they don't have as much horsepower, but they have way better range.
I know, like this is what, like when I fully charged this to 100%, I saw
Just under
370.
370.
That's what I saw,
yeah.
right? Which is nothing if you're taking long trips. It's fine for the city, but not for long periods drives. Like, you know, you want over 500 kilometers
Long
generally.
periods drives?
Long periods of drives. I'm not even speaking English today. And don't get me wrong, it has fast charging. You can top it up to like 80% in just 30 minutes. Of course, you can charge it at home. It'll take about 12 hours from 0 to full. Glove compartment, really, really, really tiny. You can barely fit anything in there. But the bins on the side of the doors are absolutely massive, so there's lots of space to store knickknacks and of course your water bottles. One thing that I absolutely love that Volvo did was they used a felt material inside of the door. So this has two benefits. One,
it's actually recycled carpet apparently.
That's fine. It's smart because
your water bottle doesn't shake in there.
Your water bottle doesn't shake.
It doesn't make a rattling noise when you're driving, which is awesome.
And there's less cabin noise. So like if Andrea's yelling at me, which happens quite
very
often,
often,
the people outside
especially
have,
when we're recording.
That's true. The people outside have a less chance of hearing us yell at each other. So that's a good thing.
So you know what I noticed this morning, Matt?
What did you notice?
I had my sunglasses on. I took them off.
Yeah.
I went to put them in here. Most cars have storage for your sunglasses.
Right.
This one doesn't have it.
I know, that's kind of unfortunate. Not every car
Where do you
has
store your
it.
sunglasses?
I guess you put
in
it
the garbage can?
In the garbage can or in the middle, or you put it in the cup holder. The cup holder does have sides so you can hold it.
Yeah, but if
you
you have a drink in here, you're not going to store your sunglasses.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, but it's not. I don't think it's a big deal. The mirrors work great. There's a light underneath, so it lights up for the night. Hey, man, mirrors are important. I got to look good, okay? And then you have pillars are a little bit big, so it does distract you a little bit from driving. There's a little place here to store tickets.
Yeah, that's weird.
Which is
I was
not
actually
a big thing,
tempted
but a
to
cute
just
thing.
rip that out when I got the car.
Yeah.
And then I realized that must be for like putting a ticket in the window.
I think it's for a ticket. I think it's ticket or something.
But now when you pay for parking, like P-parking for example, it's all on your phone.
That's true.
You don't print out a ticket.
No, yeah, some places you still do. So, I mean, it's clever, but I think it's a little bit too late type of thing.
So I must say the back seats are just as comfortable as the front. Same material. The back seats are both heated, which is great. A lot of leg room. I'd say more leg room than most other electric cars I've been in, which is really great. Look, the seat is almost all the way back, and look how much leg room I have.
But that's your seat. You're tiny. I'm 5'11". I mean, even still, like looking at the back
But
of
look,
my seat over here.
if I slide forward, I still have a
lots
ton
of
of
leg
leg room, which is great.
How about headspace?
The headspace, like my head is not even close to the top.
Well, I feel the headspace might be a problem for anyone like 6'1", 6'2". I'm 5'10" and a half-ish.
Yeah, but
and my head's fine, but I
still
feel like 6'2", you're kind of smacking your head against
like
the wall.
it is supposed to be a slopey roof, but I still think there's a lot of headspace.
And just imagine if 3 people are crammed back here, like the third person's going to hit the side of it. I mean, again, if you're tall. If you're not, it's not a big deal. Like my height's not a big deal.
For sure. Okay, now let's discuss this. The middle seat. Someone sitting in the middle has to put their legs on both sides. You're basically playing footsies with the people
Which
on
is
the
fine
sides.
if you have a gas car, but like,
Right, so
I
this
understand
really
why
serves
it's there.
no purpose.
It doesn't serve no purpose, but it's there because, again, this is the same chassis as the XC40, which also comes in a gas car, and they're probably just keeping that variant
you mean the
for
XC40, not XC40.
XC40.
Yes,
Sorry.
XC40.
So they're keeping it for the whole thing. I see there's a 12-volt charger down there. You got.
Yep.
You can adjust the way the heat comes out. You can't control the heat though, which kind of is a bummer. But at least you can control where the heat is blowing.
For sure. But overall, the
How's
back
the
seat
armrest?
is really cozy. The armrest is really wide. 2 nice sized cup holders. And the one thing you were talking about that you couldn't wait for on another electric car. This, I believe you have to open this from the trunk, right?
Yeah, from the trunk.
So, but you can put your skis through here, or you can put your hockey stick that you always talk about wanting to put through the slot. You have that access right here, which is great.
So this is what the outside looks like, and I think it looks so sporty. I think it looks great. I love the little coupe on the back, obviously. Volvo and their signature lights. It looks good, especially at nighttime when you're stopping and they all light up. 20-inch rims for the ultimate package. The cheaper packages use 19-inch rims. These are all-season tires. They're Pirellis. You have the aerodynamic rims, which I think look really cool, okay? You have your charging port over here. This is CCS. Of course, if you take this off, you can quick charge it. You get about 80% in around 30 to 40 minutes. If you charge it at home, 0 to 100 in about 12 hours. Handles, regular handles on the doors. Your mirrors also have the blind spot baked into them, so they will light up if a car passes you. But yeah, come on guys. I mean, this looks really good.
Matt, watch this. Very accurate.
Is that how you always open your car?
Always, especially when I have groceries. That is the most accurate detector, whatever you want to call it, that I've seen so far on a car.
My old Audi A5, I'd literally have to be kicking
for 5 minutes.
At least 5 minutes.
For 5 minutes.
I'm doing like a dance.
For 5 minutes. So that's the cool thing about this trunk. I love the fact that it has a lot of storage. It has the privacy screen. Cargo space is pretty good for this size car. You have a little bit of storage on the sides, which is nice. And watch this. Talking about groceries. You can hang your bags on here.
I love the look of the front of the car. They're not going cheap like some other manufacturers where they put like these nasty plastic grills. It's all smooth. It looks great. The Volvo logo nice and big in the middle. You have a camera over here. And then when you open it up, you can see inside the engine or lack thereof, because this is an electric vehicle, there is no engine. You have your windshield wiper fluid. And this is very misleading because you would think there would be a massive frunk, but yeah, it's a little tiny, you know? You can fit your charging cables in here, maybe a purse, but it's nowhere near the size of what the Model Y has. So is the Volvo C40 Recharge worth the watt? In a lot of ways it is. If you're a city driver taking the odd cottage trip, it's fine for that. But if you're doing long distance all the time, the range is a little short in my books. I'd rather go with a Model Y. If you're comparing this to the regular XC C40, then that one is more practical. You're gonna get a little bit more boot space, you're not gonna get the blind spot, and you're saving a few dollars. But if you want the nicest or one of the nicest looking electric vehicles from Volvo on the market right now, this one hits the spot. If you have any more questions, let me know in the comment section down below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next one.